Hello and welcome to Held and Heard. This is a podcast for pregnant and postpartum mamas who want to feel more connected to their babies and more confident in themselves. Here, we talk about elimination communication and infant potty learning as a way of listening, not as something to add to your plate, but as a way to better understand what your baby has been communicating from the very beginning. This is a place where you learn to trust your baby and yourself. I'm your host, Heather Medlin, mother of 3, infant potty learning educator, and founder of Ready from Birth, where I guide postpartum mamas through every stage of early potty learning, from birth to toilet independence. Each week, I'll help you slow down, tune in, and discover just how aware and capable your baby already is, so you can meet them with confidence instead of doubt. Your baby is communicating, and you are capable of listening. Let's get started. What if I told you that your baby is already showing you exactly when they need to go potty? And they've probably been doing this today, like probably in the past 2 hours. I'm going to show you in today's podcast what you are already seeing and might not even realize is a potty sign. We're going to go over 5 signs that your baby is already communicating they need to go. I'm sitting here with my hot cup of tea. My kids are in the bed. I'm sitting down with you guys tonight to share these 5 very clear signals that are already happening right in front of your nose, and you just didn't realize what to look for. Okay, so number 1, I see this one all the time, and I actually saw this tonight. Your baby suddenly goes very still or quiet. This is almost always a sign that they are either actively going pee or they're pooping in their diaper. And you'll notice this because you'll kind of hear them in the room. They'll be active, they'll be playing. Maybe they're talking or they're laughing or they're making little noises. And all of a sudden they get very quiet and you just have this feeling of like, oh, what are they up to? Yeah, when you don't hear your baby, they are almost always up to no good. So tonight we actually had a situation where I had given my baby a bath. We had gone to kindergarten orientation at my son's new school. My oldest will be starting kindergarten in the fall, which is very exciting. So we went to orientation tonight, and it was right after the dinner hour. And this kind of threw off our normal routine. I had gotten home late from work, so I didn't have a chance to finish nursing my baby and sit him on the potty like we normally do after work. And we nursed. I was scarfing down dinner, and then we jumped in the car and left. He never had a chance to go potty after that 4:30 p.m. feed, and then we left. We were out in public, we were at this orientation, and we got home late after normal bedtime. So I'm rushing through the bath. I have him in his diaper, in his pajamas, he's ready for bed. And I was doing something in the bathroom, and I looked up, and he was standing by my bedside table. He looked at me, and he got very still, and I was like, oh, something's happening. And so I walked over, and then I smelled poop. And he picked in his diaper just a little bit. So this even happens to me. And I do this all the time. We've been doing this for years. Just so you know, we are not perfect either. My baby is not perfect either. He pooped a little bit in his diaper. And of course, I took him and he finished on the potty. So like 90% of it we caught, but he stopped. And that was my clue that, oh, something's happening. And so I was able to recognize that signal and go and get him and help him get to the potty. Now, does he normally come and tell me when he needs to go? Yeah, absolutely. He normally does. We were off schedule tonight. The routine was completely different. I was not expecting anything to happen at bedtime, and I don't think he was either. It kind of snuck up on both of us. Just a reminder, even when your baby is signaling clearly, consistently, coming and asking for the potty, there will still be moments like this where you have an accident in a diaper, and that's okay. All right, number 2, if you notice that your baby is squirming or unlatching while they're feeding, this can happen as early as newborn, all the way on up as long as you're breastfeeding. If your baby suddenly is like squirming around in your lap, they're twisting around, they're still attached at your nipple, but their feet are like flailing off to the side and they're spinning around and they're looking up at you with their eyeballs, if you're seeing this, y'all, there's a very good chance that your baby needs to go. Now, sometimes you will see that behavior and they need to burp. Sometimes that is a sign that your baby has a gas bubble and they need to burp. Sometimes it's both. But what I have noticed consistently over the 3 years now that I've been doing this with my youngest 2 children is that there is a big, big difference between a baby calmly nursing in your lap, getting sleepier, falling asleep on the boob, relaxed, hands unclenched, hands are relaxed. There is a very big difference between that demeanor and the squirming, kicking baby who their feet are kicking, they're moving around, they're looking around, they're twisting in your lap. They have this agitated demeanor, and you can tell the difference. So if you're seeing that agitation while you're nursing, there's a very strong possibility that your baby needs to go pee or poop. If they unlatch, you're seeing that behavior and they unlatch, try it. Stop what you're doing, take them to the potty and see what happens. It is going to blow your mind. Okay, number 3, your baby loses interest at mealtime. This is especially true if once you have a baby who is 6 months or older and they are eating solids. You will see all the time where your baby is super hungry, they're showing you hunger signs, you put them in their high chair, you serve them food, they eat a few bites, and then all of a sudden, they turn away. They want nothing. You might try to offer them another spoonful or hand them a sweet potato fry or whatever it is, and they turn away. They're not interested. They won't take another bite. If your baby is turning away, losing interest in the food, throwing the food or the plate on the floor, arching out of the high chair, trying to get out, looking around the room, getting louder and louder and louder in a restaurant. Ask me how I know. There is a very good chance that your baby needs to pee or poop. Why? Because they've started to eat. It is stimulating their digestion. Now they need to go. Maybe they're drinking liquids. Now they need to go pee. If you are seeing this behavior, your baby is not focused on the food. They are starting to become agitated, restless, irritable, louder, fussier, trying to get out of the high chair. It's probably potty time. So what do? You get them out of the high chair and you offer the potty. See what happens. It's going to blow your mind. Okay, number 4. If you are carrying your baby in a baby carrier, you like to wear your baby, you will notice that sometimes your baby loves it. They're calm, they're still, it's their favorite place in the world to be. They're up there with you, they're looking out at the world, they are observing, and there will not be a happier creature in the universe. There are other times where your baby wants nothing to do with that, and they are trying to get out, they are trying to get down, their legs are kicking, they are squirming, they are pushing up against you, they are beginning to fuss and squirm and maybe even cry, and it seems like your baby wants nothing to do with the carrier. Very good chance your baby needs to potty. This is especially true if you have fed your baby recently and now you've got them in the carrier and they're calm for a while and then they start to fuss. Usually you will see this fussy, irritable behavior about 15 minutes after a feed because, again, a feed will stimulate their digestion. Now they need to pee, now they need to poop, and you will start to see this squirmy, irritable, trying to get down, kicking their legs kind of behavior in the carrier. They're no longer calm, they're no longer peaceful, they want to get down. What do? Get them out, take them to the potty, see what happens. It's going to blow your mind. And all of these things have been happening to me since the very beginning. With this baby, that was the first catch I ever got with him when he was 1 week old. I was a week postpartum. I was getting ready to go out for a walk. I had just fed him. He woke up from a nap. I nursed him. I put him in the ring sling. I was finishing getting myself ready. And while I was getting ready, he started to do this. He started to squirm. He started to fuss. He went from super calm and happy to irritable and fussy and crying. So what did I do? I got him out and I held him over the bathroom sink and he peed and pooped instantly, y'all. Guess what? The crying stopped instantly. He immediately relaxed. His face went from scowling and scrunched up and red to relaxed and calm and happy. That calm, happy baby I had seen a few minutes ago was back instantly. The relief is real. It is instantaneous. They just need to go pee or poop. So that is always a great solution if you have a crying newborn baby and you're not sure why and their diaper's dry and you just fed them. Try offering the potty and see what happens. Okay, the 5th and final sign that your baby is already showing you is that they wake up immediately after lying them down. Raise your hand if this has happened to you. This literally happened to me this morning. My baby is a year old now. He's about a year and some change. And he has been waking up very early recently in the 5 to 6 o'clock hour. I've been trying to get up in the 5 to 6 o'clock hour also so that I can have some time alone to myself in the morning before my workday starts, before feeding the kids and dropping them off at preschool and all the things. I'm trying to get up early too, but more often than not lately, he has also been waking up. So then I'm nursing him. I'm trying to get him back to sleep so that I can settle him down and have that time to myself. Lo and behold, this morning, same thing. He woke up at 5:45 and I went and got him. I checked his diaper. I normally will change his diaper in the morning because it's normally quite wet and he doesn't like a wet diaper. He's very accustomed to being completely dry because we do EC with him during the day and he will still pee while he's sleeping. So if he wakes up and his diaper is wet, then I will take it off, change him, put a dry one back on, and then nurse him and he'll fall back to sleep. And I always offer the potty if he's showing me that he needs to go. But more often than not, he's already gone. That's why he's wet and may have been why he woke up. And so he doesn't want to go sit there again when he just went and doesn't need to go. It's very important to read your baby and know, yes, they need to go or no, they don't need to go. And I go into all of that level of detail inside of the Born Ready course because there's so much nuance to understanding your baby's signals in the context of their patterns and what's going on that day and all these other age-based, stage-based changes that will happen. EC is super simple and intuitive, and it's also complex in that it changes over time. A lot of parents don't realize that they need to adapt their approach over time as their baby grows. And this can cause some pretty serious headaches down the road. So today I noticed his diaper was wet, but not very wet. It was not as wet as it usually is. But he was crying and he clearly did not want me to take his diaper off. He clearly wanted to go back to sleep. He was not interested in going to the potty. So I put his dry diaper back on. I nursed him and he did fall asleep like he normally does, but he seemed more agitated than usual in the process. It seemed like it was taking longer than it normally does. And he did fall asleep in my arms. And I was like, great, I'm going to lay him down. I'm going to go get my coffee. I'm going to record my podcast. It's going to be great. And I'm going into his room. He sleeps in the closet. I'm very carefully laying him down. And I get him down. I get the side of the crib back up. And I'm like tiptoeing backwards out of the room. You guys know. It's like the ninja mom move. And I hear him roll over. And then I hear him kick. And then I hear him just start to fuss. And I'm like, oh no, he's going to wake up. Y'all, he was fully awake within 30 seconds. Completely awake, sat up, crying for me, looking around. And I knew this can only mean one thing. Kid's got to poop. So I went in there and I got him and I said, buddy, do you need to go potty? And here's what he does. If I'm asking him the right question, he stops crying. He gets really quiet and still. And he looks in the direction of where we're going. So I was like, hey, do you need to go potty? Immediately stops crying, looks in the direction of the bathroom. I'm like, okay, let's go. So I took him in there, put him in the potty, and he sits there calmly. And that's the other clue. If your baby needs to go, 9 times out of 10, they will happily sit there. They will relax. They are willing to sit on the potty. Once you've established a practice with them, the caveat is, if your baby has never sat on the potty before and you're trying to get started with a mobile baby, there can definitely be some resistance there simply because it's unfamiliar. They're not used to this. It can feel a little scary or intimidating, especially for an older baby who has never used anything but a diaper before. They don't know what it's like to poop without a diaper on, and just the difference of it can feel intimidating. I go into approaches for getting started with an older baby inside Born Ready. So if you're interested in that, you're finding this out later, 6 months or older, highly recommend that. That's going to take you through some very specific strategies for getting started with an older baby to alleviate the pressure, alleviate the stress, and make it as easy as possible for you to get started. Once you have that practice established and your baby knows the game, they know the drill, then if they need to go, they're going to sit there because they want to use the potty when they need to use the potty. They do not want to use the potty when you are guessing and testing and wildly inaccurate about the timing and not actually responding to a real signal and going, hey, it's been 30 minutes, let me go try and see if they need to go. I had a mom on Instagram the other day tell me that she was using this strategy and her baby is 10 months and just doesn't want anything to do with it and is refusing left and right. And I'm so sorry, but the problem is you're offering too much. If you are offering every 30 minutes with a 10-month-old baby, they simply don't need to go. You are frustrating the heck out of your baby And they're absolutely going to resist the potty because they don't need to go when you're offering, and you don't know when they need to go. And therefore, there is a massive disconnect. And it's not about communication at this point at all. It's about trying to keep a diaper dry. But the approach has to shift. With an older baby, the approach has to shift. This is no longer you taking them when you think they need to go. You have to fully pass the baton to your baby and empower them to take themselves. And if you don't lay the groundwork early with communication and building the awareness in their body of what's happening, empower them with communication so that they can tell you when they need to go and ask for the potty and ask for help, they are not going to be able to take this next step of beginning to toilet independently. So all of these skills layer on top of each other so that by the time that you get to that 10 to 12-month-old stage where your baby is maturing, they're learning to walk very soon, they are understanding sequences. At this point, they are mentally and physically capable of beginning to toilet independently. All of this is building on each other to be able to do that. So we're in the bathroom. I sit him on the potty. He sits there. I read him his little book. You must never touch a spider. It has these little things that he can feel with his fingers, and he loves it. We sat there for about 10 minutes, and he went, and he had not pooped yesterday, and this was him needing to go. And it was a lot. And I'm so glad that did not happen in a diaper, because that would have been a doozy. But he knew what he needed. He communicated to me what he needed, and I was able to respond. And he went in the potty. Did he go back to sleep after that? No. By the time he was all done, the birds were chirping, the sun was coming up. He was just ready to be up, ready to go. So he joined me for my yoga routine this morning, and I did not get to record my podcast, which is why we're doing it tonight. But that is a very clear signal that I see all the time that almost always means your baby actually just needs to pee or poop. They're not going to be able to rest and go to sleep if they have that need and it is not met. Because even if your baby does not have a practice of going to the potty, they're not expecting you to come and take them because you haven't been doing this yet. They still have a natural instinct not to soil themselves. And so there's still going to be that irritation and discomfort and antsiness, the pee-pee dance that we see that comes with feeling that urge in their body and kind of innately knowing that they really shouldn't be going in their diaper. So they're not going to go back to sleep. If you're seeing that with your baby, highly suggest you take them to the potty and give it a try and see what happens. All right, so I hope that this was really eye-opening for you. I hope that you've had at least a couple of aha moments in today's conversation. And if you notice any of these things and you recognize, oh yeah, my baby's already doing that, go hit me up on Instagram, DM me at readyforbirth.ec. I would love to hear about your experience with your baby. If you've heard this on the podcast and you're like, yes, that's me, I am seeing that with my baby. Would love to hear how that landed for you. I want you to choose one of these things that you heard me talk about today. The next time you see it with your baby, tomorrow, it's probably going to happen tomorrow because these things are happening all the time with every age of a baby in the first year of life. When you see one of these things happening, try it. Take your baby to the potty or hold them over the sink if you have a newborn, a little baby. Put them on the toilet if you have an older child with a toilet seat reducer. See what happens. If this is the first time you've ever done this and your baby's like, what the heck is that plastic thing you're trying to put me on? Get a book, get a toy, get your car keys. Let them set off the car alarm. Try it with something that is really engaging, that's new, that's different. I guarantee you, if you can just distract them even a little bit, they're going to forget about the fact that they're sitting on the toilet for the first time, and you're going to be amazed at what happens. All right, let me know when you get that first catch in the toilet. I want to hear how excited you are. All right, that's all for tonight. I've got a kitchen to go clean up and some lunches to make for tomorrow's preschool, but I will catch you next week. Bye for now. If you loved today's episode, would you take a moment to help me reach even more mamas with this message? Leave me a review or share this with a friend. You can help even more families discover what's possible. You can find education and support for every stage of your baby's potty learning journey at readyfrombirth.com. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at readyfrombirth.ec. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back every Monday with a brand new episode. See you next time. Bye for now.